Alright, so with that being said, we are going to be watching the most expensive houses. Well, actually, they're the coolest houses in the world, but realistically, they gonna make your pockets hurt, okay? Well, at least you got a home. Now let me stop. I got a home too.
From invisible tree houses to castles on wheels, some of these enviable mansions come complete with slides, 360-degree panoramic views, and even underwater bedrooms. So, let's get started.
First of all, underwater bedrooms is fucking crazy. That just sounds like a hazard, but that also sounds cool as heck. Yo, that house is undercover. It's flipped. Well, it's built different.
But be warned, by the end of this video, your own home might start to look pretty shabby by comparison.
Now, I already know. But I already know these are gonna literally
Dr. Seuss
have
house.
your heart hurting.
One home is enough for most people, but not the owner of the Dr. Seuss house in Talkeetna, Alaska, nicknamed as such for resembling Dr. Seuss's famous art style. Officially known as Goose Creek Tower, this teetering structure was created using layers of steel supports assembled with
Thankfully, this is steel supports because I was about to be like, yo.
the crane to stack a dozen log cabins on top of each other.
A dozen?
The owner utilized his engineering expertise to continually add to what was originally only planned as a 2-story cabin.
One, you already know that this person has a shit ton of money. Let's just make that adamantly clear. And two, I guess use your expertise to go fulfill a lifelong dream in a sense. But I would be scared as hell. Just that looked like a birdhouse. I'm sorry. It looked like the pigeons could fly in, sit on there, do what they do, chit chat. Cause nah, bro, I would be a little scared. Not gonna lie. Like even though they're on metal, he said metal beams, but now I would still be scared.
Over the course of 20 years.
20 years.
Certainly has great views. Anyone with a fear of heights will want to steer clear. In fact, the house has now grown so tall that the owner can't build any higher without entering federal airspace. Pretty cool, right? But what's even cooler
federal
is
airspace?
that by liking this video and subscribing to be amazed, you can guarantee yourself wacky and informative content every day of the week.
Not him doing a promo. Not him doing a promo.
Now let's take a look at some more awesome houses. The Safe House. This next house is perfect for fans of The Walking Dead. Located just outside Warsaw, the Safe House is the only home.
Why in the fuck does that look cool? Excuse my language. It literally looks like you're living in a box. Like a box to keep you in, not to come out. How is that cool?
Home in the world that's been designed to withstand a zombie apocalypse. At first glance, it looks like a sleek, modernist mansion. But flick a switch,
but I don't look like no mansion.
Concrete walls and strong steel shutters transform the pad into an impenetrable fortress.
Bro, they're ready for the purge.
You wait for the zombies to arrive. One of the large protective shutters conveniently doubles as a home cinema. What's more, it even has a drawbridge to get to the separate swimming pool building without going downstairs. Because who says apocalypse living needs to be totally deprived of luxury?
I'm just confused. If this is really meant for the apocalypse living, would you really want big ass glass mirrors being able to see you while you swim? Like, why isn't that like low-key shut down too? I just feel like, what was the point of creating a whole house which isolates you from the outside world? God forbid we do have an apocalypse, and then you gonna kindly just press the button to put down your ladder or like your walkway that extends to the pool so you don't hit the ground. You don't think they just gonna break the glass once they see you swimming in there? And then I hope there's an escape. I'm thinking too hard probably then, because what? That shit made no sense. You just created a house that was the ultimate like non-penetration force, and then you just gonna sacrifice your life by trying to go swim. Why isn't the swimming pool in the house? Like, what kind of, yeah.
Slide house. Why walk when you could slide? My inner child is obsessed with this next house, and for good reason. It's a modern family home that features 3 floors of built-in slides. One side of this home, found in Tokyo, has standard stairs. Boring, but essential for reaching the top floor. Once you've made the climb, though, you can cross to the other side of the house and ride the slide all the way back to ground level. If that wasn't enough, the house also boasts a built-in ball pit. If only more homes were this much fun.
I don't know why you would need that. Not gonna lie. Also, you gotta walk to the top to then slide all the way back down. Isn't usually walking down the stairs not that much work? Is going up. That's a lot. But I guess it goes all around the house, you know. I guess.
The egg house. Up next, we have something a little different. This strange little sphere on wheels was designed as an eco-friendly capsule apartment crafted out of little more than iron wire, bamboo, sandbags, and plexiglass. The Egg's owner, architect Dai Hai-Fei, created this quirky home as a fun way to explore innovative and cheap ways of living in busy cities. He lived in it for 2 months back in 2010.
It is given. Yeah, I'm glad that's why he meant. Yeah, because I was about to be like, that's.
To prove its
Yeah.
viability, and only moved out when it got too chilly in the winter. It may lack luxury, but this portable home has most of the essentials, including solar power and a cozy bed. The grass seeds in the cladding ensure that a little rain will transform the egg into a luscious green lawn. Although in practice, as the grass grows, it kind of starts to look like a moldy old mattress. But with lawn or without, could you live in an egg house? Let me know in the comments below.
It's not even that. What kind of jurisdiction did you get to live in an egg house in the middle of a busy ass city? And he lived in it for 2 months is given research. And then on top of that, I feel like they didn't mention where the fuck you use the bathroom at. Shower. And if it only has a bed in there, I hope it's big enough to change. Or do you like change on a bed? Do you put one leg up? I don't know.
House NA. This next house is strictly for those who have nothing to hide. Why? Because it's made almost entirely out of glass. Located in the center of Tokyo, every wall of this home is completely see-through. That means everything you do will be visible to nosy neighbors and curious tourists
no.
alike. House NA is supposed to look a bit like a modern treehouse. The white steel struts represent branches, while
Waste
the
of
flood
money.
natural sunlight creates the illusion of living al fresco. Instead of rooms, the house has platforms, which you can reach by climbing
Waste of
small
fucking money.
ladders. It's a stunning home, but if you value
That's how you get robbed, y'all. You know why people wonder why they get robbed? You probably the one with your curtains wide open every single day. And then you wondering, why did I get robbed? Yo, everybody can see your stuff. When they drive by, they can see your stuff. When they're just casually walking the street, they can see your stuff. You ever thought close your curtains? And then you gonna get a whole house I see through? How you supposed to change? How you supposed to take a shit? How you supposed to just do basic stuff? Like, just no. No.
your privacy, you might want to install some curtains before you consider moving in.
No, for real. Or you know what it could be? You know what they have to put is this, like, there's this see-through glass where it gets natural sunlight and it looks like people can see you, but they really can't see you. Or you can get things where it's like you clap and then like your windows like change like a different color or something so people can no longer see in. But that's a hazard. There's nothing. No.
Chateau on wheels. Who doesn't dream of living in a castle? Well, the owners of this next house are living that dream, but in a pretty unusual way. The Chateau on Wheels in New Zealand is a mobile home with a difference. It's designed to look like a miniature castle. When the house is on the move, the turrets, which are actually made of collapsible plastic, can be folded away to avoid startling passing motorists. But as soon as the owners reach their destination, the side doors unfold and turrets pop out to reveal the castle within. Inside, the clever and cozy space-saving decor makes this castle the perfect pad for a small family. A brilliant way to live like royalty on a budget.
I'm sorry. That's kind of ghetto, but kudos to y'all. Y'all making it work. Yeah, because I just feel like what happens when your car break down or you get a flat tire? Like, is the house able to support that, or do one of y'all know how to change the tire? Yeah, there's so many questions.
The heliotrope. We'd all like to save the planet, but not everyone is willing to live in an experimental, eco-friendly home in order to do so. But that's exactly what one German architect did. In 1994,
Oh, that's cool as
Rothschild
shit.
built himself this cylindrical, solar-powered home in Freiburg, Germany. The amazing thing about Dish's creation is that it actually rotates, allowing it to harness maximum solar power by following the movement of the sun.
Does he get sick when he's standing in it, or does he not feel it? Like, I have so many questions for these people. How the fuck are y'all living?
Dish envisioned a house that could be totally energy efficient, renewable, and CO2 neutral.
But there's a
and
big mansion next to it.
Cutting-edge green energy technology to achieve his dream. The home's heating draws from a combination of super efficient insulating materials and those metal solar thermal railings that surround its walls, which trap heat throughout the day. Meanwhile, the house's occupants' waste is all composted or recycled using state-of-the-art purification systems. The energy usage
the
is
hell? What
so
does that mean by
efficient that
state-of-the-art
the house
purification?
actually produces 5 times more energy than it uses, allowing it to provide its surplus to the local grid. As the world's first
what?
energy-positive solar
Not the house adding extra energy to us.
home, I'd say that makes it a real ray of sunshine on the German property market. Casa de Pinedo. If getting back to nature is your thing, you'll love this home in northern Portugal. Built between 4 enormous boulders, it's so well camouflaged that you might not even spot it at a first glance, which is
He gives me the Croods. I don't know if y'all have ever watched that movie, but that's what it's given. Or oh my God, Shrek and Fiona. When Shrek lived in his little cabin thing, you know, these rocks, you know, they ain't cabin, but it look a little like it.
exactly what the original owners wanted. They planned to use the house as a peaceful holiday retreat, a place to unwind and soak in the sights. However, news about the mysterious
Am I
stone
staying in
building
one of these
spread
houses?
fast, and
I wouldn't. None of them have caught my eye. There's tons of reasons why I wouldn't stay in every single house. Like, so many reasons. But I don't know. I feel like I'm a practical person, and like even when I obtain money and like a lot of it, me personally, I don't care to live in a big ass mansion. I want to live in a big house. Don't get it fucked up. But like, it's going to be big for the simple fact is I like a lot of accommodations. Not necessarily speaking like I'm getting a house just to flex. Well, I'm gonna do that too, but that's more for like if I have like if I want my family to all come together. I'm gonna have like this is my like one of my big plans. I'm gonna have like a house specifically for my family and like the person I'm with at the time, and we're gonna get a big ass house. It's probably gonna be a mansion, and there's gonna be times throughout the year where I have it like secluded for just me and my family to come through and like just look through it. No, well, not look through it, but to like spend time and like busy days. So like the other time I'm gonna just be renting it out, to be honest, to make money, because there's no need for a mansion to just fucking be sitting there. Someone else could live in it. But I also want like a place where every one of my family members could go to, but also just to show like my hard work paid off. Like if you feel like I'm flexing, it's an insecurity in yourself. Like don't get it fucked up. Like yes, there's certain people that flex, like, you know what I mean? Like every year we went to a different mansion. Okay, that's unnecessary. Like it would be one mansion and it's the same one. Like that's it. But that's what I want though. Cause I wanted like, bro, sometimes some people need a wake up call. Like some people won't believe what you're doing until like they're sitting or like other people started idolizing you. And that's when it's like, oh shit, like you're really doing big things. But it was just like, it was right there in front of you. Like, but some people just need that extra person for them to like realize that, oh, it's a big thing. But me personally, I do have a whole game plan. Like I also want like houses in every single country is a must. Every single country. And then I was gonna get a private plane for the simple fact is I don't want to have to worry about passports, and like if I want to fly somewhere, I want to fly right then and there. I don't want to have to wait or be like, oh, you can't, cause bro, get me a flight and let me go. But yeah.
And soon, tourists were rushing to take a look. Eventually, the owners moved out, and the house now functions as a small museum dedicated to the beauty of the surrounding landscape.
That's crazy. A couple was actually living in that fucking house, but because people wouldn't leave them alone, they moved out. It is a museum now.
Without any electricity in the building itself, things at Casa de Pinedo are still very much au natural. Upside down house.
Yeah, why would anyone
There's
want that?
something slightly off about this next house. If I could just put my finger on it. Oh yeah, it's upside down. This is the appropriately named
What do you gain by creating an upside down house? Like, you can't even sit on the fucking bench that's upside down. Like, why, bro? Why?
upside down house in Weisenweg, Germany. Now, nobody actually lives in this house due to a combination of it being an art installation and the rather obvious practical limitations. With toilets on the ceiling and lights on the floor, many people have to leave the upside down house after just a few minutes because its mind-bending weirdness leaves them feeling dizzy. If you can stay inside long enough, though, you can make the most of some unforgettable photo ops. Assuming your lunch doesn't make a reappearance mid-snapshot.
This is
The
great.
skateboard house.
Like, why would I'm thinking just the house is upside down. When you walk in, they got everything upside down. You can't live there. That's like a museum, exhibit at that point. What?
Some skateboard obsessives would totally live on the ramp if they could. And thanks to the Pass House, more commonly known as the Skateboard House, these dreams could soon be a reality. It hasn't actually been fully built yet, but this mini apartment prototype shows what it'll look like when it's finally constructed in Malibu, California. The idea is that every single surface would be skatable, meaning the walls, the floor, and even the ceilings are fair game for you and your board. Which would mean all beers retrieved from the fridge should be delivered overhead with a kickflip or two to finish up.
That just seems like a safety hazard in so many ways. What if the one day you're not trying to skate, bro? You're just trying to chill. Someone skates over you and then smacks you in the head. Like,
The Steel House. You'd be forgiven for thinking that this hunk of sculpted steel in Texas doesn't look all that much like a house. In fact, many people think it looks more like an enormous metal pig. Go easy with the insults, though. This unusual home isn't actually finished, as the architect sadly died in 2008 before he could add the pool, aquarium, and the, nude statues that he
R.I.P.
originally planned. Still, the house is pretty impressive, built entirely out of hand-welded steel and glass, commanding gorgeous views over the edge of a canyon. And
That's
take
tough.
a look inside.
No, that-
Bare though it may be,
I lied.
the interior
I'll live in
is
that house.
something else.
That shit's
But
tough.
would you like to live in the metal pig? If so, how would you decorate it? Let me know in the comments below. Volcano House. Ever wanted to live in a house on a volcano? It sounds cool,
No.
if a little risky. Still, health and safety red tape didn't stop one intrepid architect from building this home in Newberry Springs, California, a mansion located right on top.
I'm confused. Did he use science for that shit? Like, did he already know that it wasn't gonna like erupt until like 400 years from now? So it was okay to do this? Like, I'm confused.
Of a volcanic cinder cone. Of course, the cone's completely safe now, having crusted over many millennia ago, and now simply provides a perfect vantage point for the residents living atop it. The unusual structure looks a little like a flying saucer has crash-landed in the middle of the Mojave Desert. And just like a UFO, this
Is it-
space-age mansion has stunning views of the skies that stretch out over the desert dunes. Not to mention its classy decor and private lake. All this place needs is some kind of supervillain to drill a hole in
Fuck the supervillain. I know that chair is like a band or $400.
into the lava deep below for their enemies to be thrown into. Just saying. House on the Cliff.
What though? That low key looks like it has a face, 3 eyes, and then a mouth. I'm not bugging.
Moving from volcano homes to cliffside retreats now, we have this home, built straight onto a cliff face in Salobreña, Spain. The owners fell in love with the location, but had no idea how to build a home on such a steep slope. Luckily, the inventive architects they hired to figure it out came up with this unusual solution. The
Bro, you know you got money when you telling people to build a house from scratch on a fucking cliff.
house is actually carved into the cliff, which means it looks a bit like a futuristic cave. The weird, wavy roof, fashioned out of metal plating, helps the home to blend into its rocky surroundings, while also paying homage to the rippling sea below. And, thanks to floor-to-ceiling windows, the unusual location's magnificent view of an unbroken vista stretching out from the Alboran Sea to the horizon is fully visible at all times.
There's a
As
broad
the
bee in
adage
there.
goes, if someone tells you to jump off a cliff, don't do it. But if they tell you to jump into this cliffside swimming pool, you should seriously consider.
That's a vibe.
Boeing 727. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? Nope. It's a luxury hotel. The 727 fuselage home in Costa Rica is an opulent 2-bedroom suite hidden inside a real retired airplane. The Hotel Costa Verde salvaged the Boeing 727 plane, which would otherwise have been used for scrap metal. They moved it piece by piece to its new home on the edge of San Miguel National Park, where it now appears frozen in time, permanently soaring through the jungle. With hand-carved teak wood furniture and a terrace that allows residents to observe the local treetop sloths, toucans, and monkeys, it's
That's a vibe. I'll go there too.
certainly beats flying economy class. The plane's windows look out all the way to the ocean, meaning as long as you don't wake up in the night thinking you crash-landed in Jurassic Park, you'll probably have a spectacular time. Skysphere Tiny House. The Skysphere is a solar-powered micro-home in New Zealand that sits atop a 20-foot-tall tower, built by New Zealander Jono Williams for around...
I'm sorry. Okay, congratulations to him, because that's cool as fuck. That shit also dangerous, though. You cannot convince me it's not dangerous.
$40,000. In order to reach this futuristic man cave, you'll need to climb a ladder hidden within the central hollow pole. Once you're up there, you can sit back, relax, and enjoy the view. Almost every part of this high-tech house can be controlled using a smartphone, including locking and unlocking the doors, playing music, and changing the color of the lights.
Nah.
There's no kitchen or bathroom, so this definitely isn't suitable as a full-time residence, unless you have a bladder of steel. But it's certainly a great spot for stargazing, or
Yeah,
for a very
stuff.
literal way of proving you're above everyone else.
Oh.
Cement factory conversion. Would you live in an abandoned factory? Personally, the very idea gives me the heebie-jeebies. But this was obviously not the case for one brave Spanish architect, who became aware of an enormous abandoned cement factory in 1973. Ricardo
Oh. You know, people do this actually today. They take abandoned factories and build, like, apartment space or condos off of them. Not these days. It's kind of normal to do it now.
Bothell was captivated by the cavernous, ivy-strewn location he found there, filled with stairs that led
Offshore,
nowhere.
if you're watching, don't
But
forget to
instead of
follow. It means a
calling
lot.
them
Goes a long way.
Ghostbusters, brave Bothell saw an opportunity. He dedicated the next 40 years of his life to converting the factory into a house and studio, preserving many of its original features, including the colossal cement silos.
got fucking money.
The result is this enormous and impressively open-plan home, which we can only hope isn't as haunted as it looks.
That man lives in a factory,
The
though.
Ghost House. Another somewhat ghostly abode can be found in this
Bro, they should not have called that the ghost house. Call that shit a wax candle. Cause what? That shit is a wax candle.
striking white house with a colorful history. The Guest Ghost House in Delme, France, has at various times been used as a prison house, a school, and a funeral home. But in an attempt to give it an entirely new lease of life, two artists teamed up to transform it into an enormous work of art instead. Covering it in a thick layer of polystyrene, resin, and bright white paint, the intention was to create something resembling the classic white sheet ghosts we're all familiar with. According to the artists, this was in reference to the countless different individuals who'd come and gone, leaving their ghostly imprint on the house over the years. The result is a spooky white structure dripping with swooping sculptural shapes, almost like it's been coated in melting mozzarella. Sadly, you can't actually live in the Guest Ghost House, as
Good.
it's currently in use as a visitor center. But
Oh.
if you like the look of it, perhaps you'll be inspired to attack your own home with a pot of white paint.
No.
Beverly Hills Mansion.
That shit looks
While
gorgeous.
Some homes are cool because of their uniqueness. Sometimes you just can't beat a good old-fashioned luxury mansion.
Nah,
Located
that's
in
just-
Beverly Hills, California, and made from concrete and steel, this
That's just
wonderful
fucking
decadent home
gorgeous.
has it all. There's a 500-bottle wine cellar, several pools and water features, luxurious kitchens, glass-walled leisure areas, and a rooftop terrace with views
Oh,
of
yeah.
the city. This house
Oh,
is
yeah.
so fancy that even the custom staircase cost $500,000 to make. If
Oh.
this embodiment of luxury living seems like your dream home, the only catch is that it'll set you back a cool $14 million.
Like 14 mil.
Tree houses. Sick of living on
Nah, that shit
solid
was fire,
ground?
though.
If so, allow me to introduce some unconventional homes with a more elevated approach to accommodation. First up, the Mirror Cube. Blink and you'll miss this hidden hideout, which is
Oh, shit, it's
expertly
right there.
camouflaged to blend in with its surroundings. This cube-shaped treehouse
Hold up.
in Norway is wrapped around the hunk of a tree and covered
that
in
shit's
mirrors, meaning
holy
it reflects the
moly.
leafy forest around it. Inside, you'll
Bro, if I was a monkey or like a fucking any animal in the jungle, bro, and I had no type of like common sense, I'm running into that house. You can't tell me otherwise.
find enough space for 2 people to enjoy a simple woodland hideaway with a double bed and a rooftop terrace accessible by ladder. Be careful,
rooftop
though.
terrace.
If you leave the Mirror Cube for a stroll, you might want to leave a light on so you can find it upon your return.
Yeah, that's
But perhaps
crazy.
You'd rather stand out than blend in.
Or leave a what's it called? An Apple fucking tag in the house so you know how to get back.
If so, you might prefer the Bird's Nest in Sweden. This unusual treehouse does what it says on the tin. It's designed to resemble a giant twiggy nest, accessible
looks
by a
dangerous.
ladder leading to a hatch in the floor. The home within is big enough for a family of 4, and
Oh.
small porthole windows allow you to peek through the twigs at the forest scenery. Bird person costumes are not required for entry, but you might as well wear one anyway. The Domestic Transformer. If you've ever grown bored with the layout of your home, this next house poses the ultimate solution. Gary Chang, an architect from Hong Kong, devised an ingenious way to demonstrate how small living spaces, like the 360 square foot apartment he'd lived in since childhood, could be totally transformed. Utilizing his architectural know-how, he maximized his space by installing sliding screens, movable walls, and hidden storage spaces. His single-room apartment could now be transformed into a whopping 24 different rooms, simply by moving the walls. It's an intriguing blueprint for how we could use space in the future. As cities grow,
I'm sorry, that just told me they trying to rob me of my money. Instead of giving me more space, you want to confine it while creating extra walls and shit instead of just giving more space. And then on top of that, I'm sorry, but I'm a person where like if I don't see it, it don't exist. I would forget where the fuck the bathroom is. And then be like, yo, where is it? But I still think it's cool though. All jokes aside, that still is cool.
busier and house prices rise. Villa Vals. When a group of architects decided to construct a mansion on the Swiss Alps but didn't want to ruin the luscious mountain meadows, it was a tricky dilemma. Their solution? An underground home built into the scenery. With a long wall of the mansion exposed to the outside world, plenty of sunlight and beautiful alpine views are guaranteed.
How the fuck
and
you get
if all
approved for
that's
that?
too pleasant, you can always retreat into the subterranean tunnel that connects to the old storage barn further down the hill. You know, for when you want to work on your Smeagol impression in private.
I'm sorry, that was
House.
giving. That was literally giving escape route. I don't know who the fuck lives in there, but they ready for the feds to come through because they got a whole escape route and okay.
This house in Eton, England, is made almost entirely out of cork. That's right, the squishy stuff that pops out of champagne bottles. The home was constructed by hand out of blocks of compressed cork, an environmentally friendly material which can be harvested gently from cork trees without needing to fell the tree itself. With spongy walls of this unusual yet effective insulating material, the minimalist house is totally unique while still coming equipped with all the essentials. What's also unique is that it isn't necessarily permanent. When the owners are done with it, they can take it to pieces and crumble it into a cork dust, which can then be buried to aerate soil and encourage plant growth. So, if you want to live the champagne lifestyle, what better way to do it than living inside a giant cork?
I'm just confused though. Is it good for the rain? Like would you be able to survive? Like what?
Spitbank Fort. If home security is your thing, it doesn't get much better than an isolated fort in the ocean. And this next building, known as Spitbank Fort, fits that bill perfectly. It was once a sea fort, home to hundreds of soldiers who had the job of guarding the coast of Plymouth, England. At the time, it was probably a pretty uncomfortable spot. crowded, cold, and battered by the waves. How things have changed. The fort has now been transformed into a luxury hotel on its own private island, with a sea view sauna, heated pool, sunbathing spots, and a well-stocked bar. Instead of being
Okay.
expected to guard the coast from pirates, guests can relax with a champagne breakfast
Oh, that's
or
kinda
spa
tough.
fishing. And while living there is only available in the form of a temporary stay currently, considering the fort's historically changing purpose, who's to say this couldn't be your new home eventually? The Desert House. At first glance, this stack of stone slabs looks little more than an intriguing natural feature of the desert. That is, until you realize it's an actual house in Joshua Tree in the Californian desert. Constructed of sand-colored concrete slabs carved
tryna
to
blend in?
blend seamlessly with the rocks around them, the architect wanted to create a building that seemed to crouch on the landscape, almost like a sleeping animal. When you step inside, though, the house totally transforms. Light filters through the concrete and glass roof, casting mysterious shadows over the boulders, stone floors, and striking wooden decor, giving you the impression of living in a science fiction cave. This place might just
no.
knock the volcano house off the top spot for most likely to be home to a Bond villain. Floating
Ooh,
homes.
floating homes.
You've probably heard of houseboats, but I highly doubt you've ever boarded a waterbound house quite like this. I present to you the Floating Seahorse. This sea-borne abode is part of a fleet of 130 similar homes being constructed off the coast of Dubai. The bedroom is on the lowest floor, which means that it's completely submerged beneath the waves. Talk about sleeping with the fishes.
Okay, you know what my issue with sleeping with the fishes is? It's just like, God forbid I wake up one day and a shark is trying to like hit its head on the glass, right? Or like I wake up one day and I'm just drowning because there was a crack. Like, you know what I just mean? Like, no.
Huge windows overlook the coral reef, a protected environment where endangered seahorses live and breed. Ascend from the bedroom and you'll be treated
Oh, they were smart. They put it where the fuck where only seahorses go. Because I'm like, that shit just sounds dangerous. I'm sorry.
to an upper level which boasts its own minibar and hot tub. Once these are built, they truly will be the ultimate party pads. Another waterbound beauty is this place, known as the Arkup. These livable yachts can move around like boats, but have all the luxuries of a designer home. Available to buy now for $5.5 million, they justify their price
No, I'm sorry. That's actually fire. I would spend $5 million on that. I really would. I
tag
really
by
would.
boasting 2 floors, 4 bedrooms,
Oh, yeah.
state-of-the-art furnishings, and balconies overlooking the water. They're designed to withstand the elements, and the solar panels on the roof mean they're surprisingly eco-friendly. What's not to love? For one final floating concept home that's sure to attract countless buyers as soon as it hits the market, we have this water mansion designed by architects Stefan Fuchs and
What the
Thomas Wacker.
fuck?
The plan is to float
There's a
several
water
of these
mansion?
homes off a remote bay, accessible by a shuttle service, creating a sort of floating luxury village. The inhabitants won't have to feel lonely, though. Each home is big enough for 8 people, and the enormous sun decks leave plenty of room for soaking up some rays. Plus, if you get bored of being on the water, the convenient jet ski parking bays mean you can easily zoom back to dry land. Not that you'll ever want to leave, of course.
Now, that's in case of
Summer house.
emergency. You need to get on one of
Nestled
those
on a
hoes.
forest cliff in the middle of one of
I just want to say though, I would live. I wouldn't live, but I would take a trip and be on one of those. That shit was fire. I'm not gonna lie. That was actually tough.
Norway's most spectacular fjords, this magnificent abode is known as the Summer House. Incredibly, this wide-open spectacle of glass and stone was built without felling a single tree or hacking away at any rock. The rock face and the uneven terrain are all incorporated into the home, giving it an excitingly rugged and elemental feel. The building is made up of a series of pods, each topped off with a turf-covered roof, giving it the appearance of a treehouse nestled in the forest scenery. In fact, it's so committed to being integrated within nature that there's no road access to the property, meaning you'll need a reliable pair of walking boots if you ever want to visit. Casa
Well, on the bright side, I know ain't nobody getting to me. But at the same time, I don't think I'm gonna be able to go anywhere because they just said it's walking distance.
Brutale.
I would never get in that shit. You just see how that was on the edge of a fucking cliff like that, literally on the edge? Oh, nah.
It's one thing to live among the rocks of a forest. It's another thing entirely to live wedged inside a natural rock formation like this.
Bugging.
This stunning home, known as Casa Brutale, hasn't actually been built yet, but it's due to begin construction in Lebanon in the coming years. Being built into a sheer cliff face with the sea-facing walls made entirely of thick glass will allow for totally unique, sweeping views of the ocean below. And the
No, the view's gonna be fucking fire, but at the same time, is it worth risking your life?
best part? Instead of a roof, it's planned to have a glass-bottomed infinity pool. That means
Do you even hear it? Bro, instead of a roof, it's going to have a swimming pool. God forbid that swimming pool fucking collapses on you, bro. You guys are drowning in your house, and then you're probably going, all the water going to drop, then you going to float and then float off. Nah, bro. I don't even know.
every room in this one-of-a-kind mansion will be illuminated with rippling water-filtered light, giving an effect similar to being submerged underwater. If Casa Brutale is anything to go by, it seems living underneath your swimming pool is the best way to guarantee a little privacy. What's the most
Or put a fucking roof over the thing. Like, what, bro? Okay, y'all, that was different. There's another way to, like, there was just another way to say that.